MMA Fighting presents Timeline, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2. December 1st, 2017. The Ultimate Fighter 26 finale, Las Vegas, Nevada. The 8-0 Sean O'Malley makes his official UFC debut as the co-main event opposite Terrion Ware. O'Malley wins by decision. December 9th, 2017. UFC Fight Night 123, Swanson vs. Ortega, Fresno, California. The 7-2 Merab Dvalishvili makes his Ultimate Fighting Championship debut against Frankie Saenz. Dvalishvili loses by split decision. March 3rd, 2018. UFC 222, Cyborg vs. Kunitskaya, Las Vegas, Nevada. In only his second fight in the UFC, the unranked O'Malley is booked on the main card of a pay-per-view against Andre Sukumta.
Your matchup. Oh, Sugar Sean O'Malley and Andre Sukumta. And there you see Andre Sukumta very upset, very fired up. He pushed Sean O'Malley's hand away. Sean O'Malley flips him off. Pay-per-view, your pay-per-view debut after 2 fights in the UFC. Officially, you had the one on the Dana White show. Does this feel any different?
This feels better. Feels more real. I like it. I love it. I'm ready.
And you're getting a bit of a push. You're on Embedded. They moved you up the card. Are you feeling the love overall despite the no workout?
I'm feeling, the love from the UFC. I'm definitely feeling the hate from the fans. They don't like the push I'm getting, but what kind
of hate you get?
I've seen a couple guys saying, why are they pushing this kid? I'm 9-0, 7 finishes. I do stuff other people don't do. I look a certain way. You know, people are attracted to me. They want to see me fight. I give them good contact to push, so they're pushing me, and it's gonna pay off.
I also understand you're a huge fan of hummus. Is that correct?
I do love hummus.
Hummus is fantastic, right?
I like hummus.
Is there a specific kind that you like? The original, or do you like
red bell pepper hummus?
I like red bell. Really?
I like all of them. I actually ate it so much, kind of got sick of it for a little bit.
Okay.
Just with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, hummus is good.
Wow. Okay. How do you rate Sean O'Malley right now? Where do you put him as far as like uber prospect on the cut? Like how do you rate him?
He's a good prospect.
Okay.
I don't want people to get ahead of themselves, because that tends to be what happens when these fighters show up on these UFC produced shows, and especially when Dana White gets behind a guy, they push people too quick, and people are so fast to jump off I guess what I'm trying to say is people are so fast to lay in weight, and at the first sign of weakness, people will criticize, this guy shouldn't have been getting all this hype, that type of thing. Sean O'Malley is a good prospect. He's not a blue chip incredible prospect, but he's a good young prospect who's going to be an exciting, interesting fighter in this division for a long time, and I think we should be okay with that.
How do you feel about this matchup? Sukumta's a tough guy, and he's coming off a nice win over Luke Sanders. What do you think about this fight for him?
It's a tough one, man. They're certainly not doing him any favors. If they're trying to build up Sean O'Malley, this is not the fight I would book.
Oh,
Andre
Sukumta, it was a mistake.
I think so. I mean, Andre Sukumta could easily be 3-0 in the UFC. He lost 2 split decisions, and the second of which was extremely controversial. He's a very talented fighter, and he's a very experienced fighter. This is not an easy fight.
And he's a very upset fighter. Like, he's all kinds of fired up here. So are you calling for the upset here? I don't know.
That's not an upset.
Okay, he's the betting favorite. I was just going to ask you. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley opened as a pretty decent favorite, and that has completely swung in the other direction.
Okay, so are you going with those guys? Are you picking Andre?
I think I'm going to pick Sean just because
After all that,
speaking to him, he's very confident, and his coach Tim Welch is very confident that they have isolated very specific holes in Andre's game that they can exploit. And Sean O'Malley, the one thing that impressed me the most about his debut against Terrion Ware was not sort of the flashiness and all of this that he brought. It was the fact that he was able to stay in there and he got a second win in his UFC debut. There didn't seem to be these octagon jitters. He faded a little bit in the second round, but in the third round, he continued to come hard and he sort of came back alive. That impressed me the most out of anything. And I'm going to pick Sean, but I think this is not an easy fight at all, and I would not be surprised if Andre pulls.
Boy, does the UFC need a character like him, right? I mean, what a breath of fresh air in the Reebok era to have a guy who, the way he was dressing yesterday, who just cares about, marketing himself and being different, being unique. So we'll see what happens.
O'Malley narrowly takes a decision victory despite a serious leg injury occurring during the 3rd round.
So let's talk about Sean O'Malley. What a performance. The Sugar Show rolls on, and it looked great early on. The first round was phenomenal. Arguably a 10-8. Andre Sukumta comes back a little stronger second round. Seems like he has him in a lot of trouble after Sean O'Malley landed a kick that injured his foot. doesn't capitalize on it, Andre Sukumtad. I mean, it seemed like all he had to do was get him to stand up and he would win this fight via TKO because Sean O'Malley couldn't stand up. In fact, after the fight, he couldn't even stand to do the post-fight interview. It was one of the more memorable post-fight interviews because he's literally lying on his back talking to Joe Rogan. Yes, and talking about how the medicine he will receive at his post-fight party is going to help him. You know, it was endearing, it was entertaining, but it went to show that maybe Andre Sukumtad let an opportunity slip through his fingers, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to pile on a fighter when he's down, but that was one of the most puzzling, one of the most poor fight IQs that I've ever seen in a fighter. Maybe not ever, but at least in recent memory, man. Like you said, if Andre Sukumtad just stands up and walks to the other side of the cage and says, hey, come on, like that fight might be over at that point, right? Like there were portions where Sean O'Malley was just hopping on one leg, and Andre didn't recognize it, or I don't know what, but why take him down there? It makes no sense. You know you're down on the scorecards. It was a baffling decision. But in a way, I almost feel like obviously Sean O'Malley doesn't want to get injured, and so that's not positive. But if he would have knocked out Andre Sukumtad at the end of that first round or submitted him with any of those submissions in the second round, I feel like he almost doesn't get as much shine as he ended up getting just for gritting this out, man. Like he was fighting basically half a round on one leg and he won the fight. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, both guys deserve a lot of credit because the first round for Sukumtad didn't go all that well and he took a lot of big shots. I know that Sean O'Malley was criticized after his debut, his official UFC debut back in December, the win over Terrion Ware. This time though, finish or not, he's getting the street cred for, gutting it out. But overall, are you happy with the performance? Are you happy? Because there were a lot of people who thought this may have been a little too soon for him.
Absolutely. But the first round in particular was very impressive. Just the patience and the creativity that Sean O'Malley was displaying as a striker and the fluidity. It's a joy to watch him, sort of compete. Even on the ground, he's launching into like spinning strikes on the ground and just he's going from submission to submission, chaining these grappling techniques. He's a fun fighter to watch. And again, you don't want to push someone too fast, but he does seem like a very intriguing prospect. And he's a character too, which is something in today's era where Reebok and everything is so dressed down and everybody looks the same. It's nice to just have some people out there who can still, have that personality, have some uniqueness about them. As he's getting carted off, before they're about to do the interview with Joe Rogan, he's like acting like he's smoking a bong, and as he's getting carted off on a stretcher outside of a past press row, he's just acting like he's smoking a joint. He's hilarious, man. Like I don't know how you could hate that.
April 21st, 2018. UFC Fight Night 128, Barboza versus Lee, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Merab returns to the cage against the up-and-coming prospect Ricky Simone. In a historic finish, Simone wins by guillotine at the 5-minute mark of the third round, making it the latest stoppage possible in a 3-round fight. The fight is awarded the Fight of the Night $50,000 bonus. September 15th, 2018. UFC Fight Night 136, Hunt vs. Oleinik, Moscow, Russia. Now 0-2 in his first 2 UFC fights, Merab is set to face Terrion Ware in Russia. The machine wins by decision and snaps his 2-fight skid. This victory would be the catalyst for 6 straight dominant decision victories over the following 3 years. Brad Katona at UFC on ESPN Plus 9, Iaquinta vs. Cowboy in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Casey Kenny at UFC on ESPN Plus 25, Anderson vs. Blachowicz 2 in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Gustavo Lopez at UFC Vegas 2, I vs. Calvillo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Former title challenger John Dotson at UFC 252, Miocic vs. Cormier 3 in Las Vegas.
So was that the biggest win of your career?
Yes, 100%. That was my 5th win UFC, and John Dotson, it's a big name. He was 2 times title challenger, and of course, that was big win in my career, yes.
Did you say on the broadcast you wouldn't be doing construction anymore?
Yes, that's true, yes. I was doing construction full-time. Like once I moved USA from Georgia, yeah, of course, I need to job, and I started work construction. And I was working all this time construction. I was training with my team Serra Longo. But even I was training one time, nighttime after work in my gym, in the gym every day. We have a great training, and my team made me like this. Still I was working full-time construction but training. But now I'll be full-time UFC fighter. I will training 2 times a day, and that's all I love to do, fighting, training, and do my job.
And Cody Stamann at UFC Vegas 25, Reyes versus Prochazka in Las Vegas. March 7th, 2020, UFC 248, Adesanya versus Romero, Las Vegas, Nevada. After 2 years away from competition, Sean O'Malley returns to face Jose Alberto Quinones.
Sean O'Malley.
Arizona boy. Yeah, as you know, he's coming off this 2-year USADA turmoil where it's back and forth. I spoke with him, and he said learning that he had been flagged for a USADA violation was a shot in the heart. And the thoughts that went through his mind were like, do I have to move out of the state?
Yeah.
Do I have to like cut people out of my life? Like, are people coming in?
They were paranoid about
They
somebody
were, to say
sabotaging.
paranoid would be an understatement. Like, he was like, I'm just gonna move and like just cut everyone out of my life because I don't know if people are putting stuff in my drink or not. He seems like, I don't want to say he's over it because I don't know if you can ever move on from losing 2 years of your career, but he seems like those 2 years I healed up. I got better at my own craft. He put on apparently 10 pounds of muscle to prepare for this fight. So, and to say he's confident would, again, like he oozes confidence wherever he goes.
Well, also there's a sense of almost, I don't know how to phrase it, but like karmic reimbursement with him, because when I think of Sean O'Malley going into this week, I assumed like, oh, he has like 3 fights, 4 fights, something like that. No, he has 2 UFC
and
fights.
Neither opponent is in the UFC anymore.
Neither opponent, he's basically starting anew. But when he's going through all of this USADA stuff, he had to basically pay for a lawyer for 2 years.
Unreal.
And then he had to pay $1,000 per supplement to test 20 different supplements. He ended up spending so much damn money that he hasn't earned yet. That dude was on an entry-level UFC contract when all of
Contender
this started
Series contract.
Yeah. He's so behind the 8 ball of where we thought he was going to be. The way USADA puts these fighters through, making pay for all of this is just disgusting, frankly. But this is his time now, man. Like him and Tim Welch, his coach Tim Welch, feel like almost it was better that this happened in some way, because he was going to get so much stardom, so much fame, some money very early on in his career. He was 23 years old when all this started happening. It seems like he's gone through a lot of personal evolution, a lot of personal growth. He's 25 now. He seems to have really also upped his jiu-jitsu game, upped his strength. Like you said, he's gained some size.
But Sugar Sean O'Malley, I think outside of the top 2 fights, has drummed up the most interest. Like, he's on the Embedded series, the Anatomy of a Fighter. He's with the Raptors guys. Like, he's doing all these, like, the camera's not been off of him since he got to Las Vegas.
Well, it's odd to me because it doesn't feel like he's lost very much momentum.
No, not
Even
at
though
all.
he's been out so long, like, you can lose momentum in 2 weeks in this sport. People forget about you, but
Yeah.
it seems like people are still really into Sean O'Malley, even though we haven't seen him a long time.
He's done a phenomenal. I overheard him talking to some other people during the day. He goes, what he was doing in his offseason, like with his gaming, with like his YouTube channel, like he made
Twitch, yeah.
He made sure people didn't forget who he was, but he thinks people forgot how good he is. Like, now people look at me and he's like, I'm just like the gamer with like face tattoos and stuff, but like, I'm gonna go in there and destroy this man, and then people will remember, like Jose Quinones, we haven't even talked about. I'm gonna destroy Jose Quinones, and then I'm not gonna be just this goofy-looking gamer. I'm gonna be a legitimate bantamweight. So I assume you think Sugar Sean's gonna win after all.
Yeah,
this.
and also you mentioned the face tattoos. You got a new face
Oh,
tattoo
I am
this
very
week.
aware. Because at UFC 222, that was a fake face tattoo. He goes, I'm dumb enough to get a face tattoo, but I'm smart enough to test it to see if it looks dumb. I'm like, well, you have to be a fighter for the rest of your life for a gamer because you're not going to get another job with that. But
I just like the idea of getting a face tattoo on fight week. That's ballsy enough.
I mean, come on.
O'Malley dominates and wins by TKO 3 minutes into round 1.
He pitched a perfect game. Jose Quinones had nothing for Sugar Sean. And we spoke to him at media day, and he's like, and Sugar Sean was like, I just know. He had this thing where Israel Adesanya and Conor and all these like big stars are like, I know what I'm going to do. I envision it, and I'm not even nervous about it. Like, I just know it's going to happen. And he pitched a perfect game. Said he put on like 10 pounds. He goes, me with 10 extra pounds, with the same skill set, that's terrifying. So he's Still undefeated. He's going to be a big star in the UFC.
He's got the
for a
star
while.
power.
He 100% is the star
The
power.
difference between a star power
Literally
and just,
stars on his
and
face,
just a
too.
great fighter. I mean, he's a brand. Like, he will be branded.
He will be a brand.
Look at like Conor McGregor. He's turned his whole shtick into a brand. This has that
The
same
Sugar
feel
Show.
to me.
The Sugar Show is going to be alive and well for a long time in the UFC.
Good for him. I'm here for it.
The Sugar Show would quickly return to the cage and defeat WEC veteran Eddie Wineland by spectacular one-punch KO at UFC 250 Cyborg versus Spencer.
Yeah, look, this was supposed to be a showcase fight for him. He's said before the fight, he said after the fight, he's the best striker. He believes he's the best striker. I don't know if he said in all of MMA, but that's certainly the best striker at 135 pounds. And he took out Wineland, one punch walk off KO. It was just a perfect moment. I was not a believer at first, but this guy is rising so fast. Absolutely a future star. And based on social media buzz, everyone was talking about him. Maybe the most talked about fighter tonight.
I think you mentioned you want to like go to the negotiating table because you know your worth right now. There's a couple fighters that like Jorge Masvidal and John Jones have been very vocal about wanting a bigger slice of the pie. Masvidal was just on SportsCenter questioning the split between revenue. So what do you make of all this and going into the negotiating table?
Yeah, I think our situation is probably a little different. You know, those guys have had big fights and a lot of fights and big wins. I'm not asking for a lot. Like literally, what I was asking for is still less than everyone made tonight. So I just want it to be fair. I think the whole week was kind of about the Sugar Show, and I was supposed to renegotiate after I knocked out Jose, and they wouldn't. You know, it didn't happen. So and it sucks that I even have to bring that stuff up, and it has to be about money, but it shouldn't have to be. It should be, it should be pretty fair. I think it should be something that we all agree on, and I definitely just want to get paid what I feel I'm worth.
August 15th, 2020, UFC 252, Miocic versus Cormier 3, Las Vegas, Nevada. Just 2 months after his latest knockout victory, Sean O'Malley is booked as the co-main event for a pay-per-view opposite Marlon Cheeto Vera.
Well, you say I'm not streaming or doing anything I'm doing, but I'm still knocking people out. That's why I'm in the co-main event spot. Not because I stream, not because I have 1 million followers on Instagram, not because of anything else. It's because I'm knocking people out and putting their lights out. That's what it is. You knock out, like I knocked out Alfred, made Snoop Dogg go crazy. I knock out Jose Quinones on my 2-year comeback. I knock out Eddie Wineland, opening up the big pay-per-view. It's not because I'm doing anything other than knocking people out.
O'Malley infamously suffers a leg injury early in round 1 and eventually loses by TKO, snapping his undefeated streak at 12 fights.
It's unfortunate for Sugar Sean. Young kid, you clearly like all the hype in the world. Like they compared him to Luka Doncic, Russell Westbrook, and Lamar Jackson. Now, for those of you who are watching who don't know who those athletes are, because maybe you don't watch American sports, Luka Doncic is like 21. NBA Rookie of the Year, is going to be MVP someday of the NBA. Russell Westbrook is an MVP. Lamar Jackson is an NFL MVP and one of the best quarterbacks in like the future of the NFL. They're comparing Sean O'Malley to those guys. So, and that's ESPN. That's not the UFC. That's Stephen A. Smith saying all that. So, like, take what you want from Stephen A. Smith. I personally don't care what he has to say, but when he says it, at least the world is aware of who Sean O'Malley is. So, it's unfortunate that this happened, but I really, really hope it's not a significant injury I don't want 12 more months of Sugar Sean not fighting. I want to see him back in there because I think the world and the sport needs superstars like him in there.
March 27th, 2021, UFC 260, Miocic versus Ngannou 2, Las Vegas, Nevada. Sean O'Malley returns to the cage to face all-action fighter Thomas Almeida on the main card of the Apex pay-per-view.
I've been asked this question so many times, but it's that, they ask me how I feel, whatever. I say I feel undefeated. I don't feel like I was beat because my skill set wasn't as good as his. It was a freak accident. How many leg kicks have been thrown since that kick to now, and how many times has that happened? So you can't. If he would have said I'm gonna go in there and kick his nerve, and that happened, I'd be like, damn, this motherfucker's good. And he is good. Cheeto's good opponent. But I think the way that fight ended, and watching it, the fight before that happened, I was in control of that fight. I was doing what I wanted. You know, he didn't take me down and elbow me. My leg completely gave out. I rolled my ankle 4 or 5 times, and I was still piecing him up on the feet. I backed him down, had him covered up, and I went to step back, and my ankle gave out. So, you know, if he would have beat me in a decision or just beat me in any other way than me getting injured, I would say I'm 12-1, no issue. I don't have a problem with losing. I lose in the gym all the time. You know, get up, slap hands, compete again. I don't mind losing. You know, one of these days I'm going to lose a fight. Hopefully not in that kind of fashion, and it's going to be like, yeah, he beat me. I have no issue losing. You know, I think the whole 12-1 undefeated, mentally undefeated thing has gotten a little crazy, but I do kind of enjoy when people get mad at it now. But also, I just answer the questions you guys ask.
Yeah.
O'Malley earns a round 3 knockout and takes home yet another Performance of the Night bonus.
My shins hurt really bad. Those are my initial thoughts.
Is that just from all the kicks you threw?
Yeah, just all those kicks. My ankle's good, if you guys were wondering. My ankle's good.
Well, I was going to ask, was that kind of shimmy walk you did out of the octagon kind of a nod to all the people saying just kick him in the legs?
That was a big fuck you to a lot of people. I've been getting for 8 months. I've been having to deal with weak ankles, so it felt good.
Sugar Sean would follow this up with a knockout victory over a late notice and overmatched Chris Moutinho at UFC 264, Poirier versus McGregor 3. And at UFC 269, Oliveira versus Poirier, O'Malley would pick up yet another knockout victory over Julian Paiva.
To be honest, anytime I get in the octagon, I feel like it's going to be a first-round knockout because I just feel like anybody I fight has never fought somebody like me. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's just, I think it's true when I stand in there. Paiva's never seen someone like me. He's never felt that speed. So I did see that playing out like that. And I want to thank myself for looking at the clock and seeing how much time was left. Because some people, Daniel Cormier, my last fight, he's like, oh my God, he's looking at the clock. Like, it's like, what are you talking about, dude? Yeah, I'm going to look at the clock. If I didn't look at the clock, I wouldn't know how much time I have left. I land a big shot. I don't know how much time I got left. I got to know if should I empty my tank and try to take this dude out, or should I wait and then have the rest of the fight save my energy? You know, so that kind of bugged me. That I kept bringing that up. Oh, he looked at the clock. Oh, he looked at the clock. It's like, dude's a double champ. It's like, what's your IQ? Your fight IQ? Is that not, you know what I mean? You think LeBron James is going to fucking drive the ball down the court and not look at the clock? It's amateur.
I feel like DC's getting it from everyone this week.
Don't say stupid shit. It's hard, though. That's a hard job. I couldn't do that, his job. I could not sit up there and commentate that many fights and do his job. I would sound like a complete idiot. So yeah.
O'Malley's momentum would take a pause with a no contest due to an eye poke to Pedro Munoz at UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier. September 25th, 2021, UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now riding a 6-fight win streak in the UFC, Merab is set to face former title challenger, the heavy-handed Brazilian Marlon Moraes. In a wild back-and-forth fight, Merab Dvalishvili stops Moraes by ground and pound late into round 2. The victory extends the win streak of the machine to 7 straight fights and earns him his second performance bonus.
How close did you feel you were to being knocked out?
I got hurt, but you gotta kill me to stop me. You know, I'm a warrior, and I survived, and I was fighting, and I take him down after. I was hurt, but not like this. I tell you, you gotta kill me to stop me.
Merab Dvalishvili, Marlon Moraes was just insane. Just a crazy ass fight. Congratulations to Merab Dvalishvili, 7 wins in a row. This guy is a bad man, and Marlon Moraes is a bad man too. Because I mean, he was very close to putting that guy away, but I don't think Merab's human. I just don't think he's human. And no one's going to want to fight that dude. So, nope.
August 20th, 2022. UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2, Salt Lake City, Utah. For the first time in his career, Merab is booked on the main card of a pay-per-view. He is set to face the all-time featherweight great and now bantamweight top contender, Jose Aldo.
This is a tough fight for Jose, though. Like, Merab has the record for most takedowns in a single fight. I can't remember who he did it against, but it was like 13 or 14 takedowns in a single fight. Everyone says if Aljamain wasn't the champion, Merab's the guy that'll probably do well. Like, there's a reason people are saying that the UFC is keeping him away from Sean O'Malley, because he'll just like drop him on his head over and over and over and over and over. He is an exciting fighter. He's like, you know how people don't like fans always whine and complain about like, oh, wrestling, he's just a grinder, he's a hesitant wrestler. Merab's wrestling is like Khabib's, where he just mauls you for 15 minutes, where yeah, he's on top of you, but you're drowning in a hailstorm of cinder blocks. And that is what Merab does. So this is every definition of the word, a high-level striker versus a high-level wrestler. I have absolutely no idea who's going to win. Don't ask me. I can't make that pick. I don't care who wins. I just want to see a high-level fight. If Jose Aldo wins, obviously he's next in line for a title shot, without question. If Merab wins, it's going to be interesting because he's not going to fight his teammate Aljamain Sterling.
Dvalishvili wins a controversial decision.
I am not saying that Merab Dvalishvili is a bad fighter, because he's very, very clearly not. I'm very highly ranked in my personal rankings. I am saying he did not fight that fight to win that fight. He fought that fight to take judges' scorecards. And I am also not saying that Jose Aldo fought the best fight of his life, but at various points in time, he was at least trying to hurt Merab. And I never at any point got the opinion that Merab was trying to hurt Jose. My issue with the fight is you could see when it happened. Like, you could see after round one, Merab realized, I can just spam takedowns and I won't get any of them because I ain't that dude and Jose is. But I can just wall install him, and that's fine because I'm going to win the cards. And I would love to look at the stats. I know Casey hates stats. I can't imagine a bunch of significant strikes were landed either way. But the third round is a round that that is a Merab round. But that's how you're supposed to do that. If you watch the difference between rounds 2 and 3, Merab does nothing substantively offensive in round 2. He just grabs the leg, pushes Aldo to the fence, and holds on until Aldo can break it off. And in the third round, he actually starts putting punches together. He hits him a lot. Like, he is effectuating actual offense instead of wall installing. And so if he could have done that earlier, he just didn't. And so that's why I scored the round for Aldo. And again, a lot of it is, I just hand up. It's being butthurt that Aldo's in this position to lose this stupid fight in this very stupid, unappealing way. Like, if you're gonna beat Jose, Max Holloway it. Like, do something dope. Don't do that. Like, that was just super damn lame. So,
October 22nd, 2022, UFC 280, Oliveira versus Makhachev, Abu Dhabi. In a shocking piece of matchmaking, Sean O'Malley is booked to face the top 5 ranked former world champion Petr Yan.
He was the only guy after that Pedro Munoz fight. I went back to the UFC and said, hey, I want to book a fight. Obviously, that one wasn't a satisfying victory. Peter was literally the only guy in the top 10 without a fight. He turned down Cheeto. Peter turned down Cheeto, so I don't think he really had an option. I think UFC probably went to him and said, hey, you can't just keep turning these guys down. You have to fight the Shika Show. So I know he was saying he picked that fight. I don't believe that. I think he got bullied into it. I just, when I think about having fun, I think about knocking someone out. Like, I love grappling. Like, it's my favorite training. If I had to go pick what I'm going to do, I'd love to go grapple rather than spar or anything. But when I think of fighting and putting on performances and entertaining, I think of knocking people out. So, I mean, we'll see where the fight goes, but I'd love to knock him out. I mean, I'm the biggest draw in the bantamweight division, one of the biggest draws in UFC. I go out there and beat the number 1 guy. Like, who else would I fight other than for the title? So I kind of already knew that. Hearing it confirmed from Dana, I mean, I already knew that basically, so it didn't really do much. But yeah, I think this is a massive fight. It's obviously not a main event, but this could be a main event. This is a massive fight.
There are so many factors going into this. I think a lot of people still feel like Petr Yan is the best, if not the second best 135er in the world. We don't even have Sean O'Malley in our rankings on MMA Fighting. That's how we think of Sean O'Malley as a website, apparently. We don't think he's a top 15 bantamweight. But the jump in competition here is one of those few things. Like, I can't think of many parallels to the jump in competition that Sean O'Malley is having right now, at least in terms of the modern UFC of the last 10 years. Like, we just really don't see this kind of escalation when there haven't been the results to back it up. And that is one thing to me that there's two factors in this fight, right? One is that if this was a 5-round fight, I think a lot of people would be feeling much, much, much more confident in picking Petr Yan to win this fight, because he is historically a very, very slow starter, someone who gives away the first round, who takes in the first round, downloads information, processes it, applies it on the fly, and then sort of approaches the rest of the fight with what he's gotten. You can't really give up one of the rounds when there's only 3 rounds. Whereas Sean O'Malley is this incredibly fast starter who gets all these first round knockouts, and he's very dynamic. He's very explosive in this first round. And then we've seen him sort of start to, if not fade, at least get figured out over the course of fights. And so that in and of itself is interesting, right? This is a 3-round fight. If Petr Yan's going to do the same thing that he always does, he might lose this first round. Then he has to win the next 2. Can he do that? Or is he going to switch up his whole strategy and sort of be more aggressive against this guy who's very boisterous and very in his face? That is interesting, but also just the fact of, like, Sean O'Malley is this guy who he's been in the I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it, but essentially, like, he has been in the UFC longer than you would think, right? Like, if you just like said, hey Mike, how long has Sean O'Malley been in the UFC? I think a lot of people would say, oh, he's been there maybe like 2-3 years. Like, he's still an upcoming prospect. We're on year 5 with Sean O'Malley. And we still have so many unanswered questions with this guy in regards to his ceiling, in regards to what happens when the going gets tough. We have seen twice now things get weird, or him having to come back from adversity in these fights. Once in the Chito Vera fight and once in the Pedro Munoz fight. And both those fights ended up in very strange places, right? He lost one, the other ended up being a no contest. We have not seen Sean O'Malley come back from adversity. We don't know if he has that in him, that dog in him, to be able to not be that front runner, but to mount a come from behind victory, to overcome whatever is coming his way, and then and adjust and make the changes on the fly and ultimately come out victorious. We don't know if he has that in him. Whereas Petr Yan's a dog, man. Like, we know that dude is ice cold, and he absolutely has that in him. And so those kind of questions, I'm really looking forward to seeing answered, because Petr Yan is absolutely the type of guy who's going to bring that on Sean O'Malley, and maybe vice versa in that regard. So just the way this bantamweight division has shaped up, where we sort of have the stakes with this fight leading into Saturday night, I absolutely love it. We've sort of been calling it a round robin, a Grand Prix style, to see who's going to be the next up in line at 135. And I think we all firmly believe if Sean actually pulls this off and pulls off the upset, he will be getting that title shot regardless of his loss to Chito, and the fact that Chito's one of the other people out there. That's just sort of how the sport works. So just the stakes involved in this, the questions that will be answered, just all of it. It's all so unknowable, and it's all sort of in the air right now. And I absolutely love fights like this where we have no actual idea what we're going to see.
O'Malley picks up the biggest win of his career via split decision, and would also take home his 7th performance bonus.
He was as good as I thought he was. Like, if I had to guess how that fight was going to play out, I would have said it probably would play out like that. That dude's good. He's, he was the number 1 guy in the world. Pretty sure he was in the top 15 pound for pound rankings. The dude's a killer.
Dana, I cannot believe. I mean, here's how Dana White feels about this division right now. He actually said the 2 words. He dropped the name. He said Henry Cejudo into a live microphone.
I could not believe it.
And I wanted to throw up, Sean.
What the hell are they doing? What are they doing?
I could not believe it.
Why? Like, what are we doing here? You have built this really fun Grand Prix that we're in the midst of. It's just one dude trying to, like, inch over the next. And instead of rewarding the hard work of guys like, Chito Vera, who's just out there bolting guys, Corey Sandhagen coming off a big win, and other guys as well, Petr Yan, Sean O'Malley at this point, we will get to that in a minute. Like, you could feel how you want about the judges' scorecards, but 2 things happened to that fight. Sean O'Malley proved he belonged, and Sean O'Malley, when we look at the record books, beat Petr Yan at UFC 280, whether we like it or not. So, with all this said, Sean, he says, a reporter's asking him what he thinks of the bantamweight division. He goes,
What about Henry Cejudo? That sounds like a good time. I couldn't believe this. What are we doing here? What are we doing here with this division? It's so good. You're just throwing it in the garbage. All this hard work you've done all year, you're just throwing it away for this guy who turned his back on you 2 years ago and said, screw you, give me more money, and then you gave Petr Yan a title shot that same night. He turned his back, and you didn't care. And now you want him back? What are we doing, Sean? What are we doing here?
It felt like a fight where we all gain respect for Sean, but he loses, and there's no shame in the way he even loses, putting Petr Yan in danger in a way that's never been before. Like, that's real, and that matters. And then him getting the scorecard, I don't agree. I want to rewatch it. It feels closer to robbery than bad decision. I know that is a very hot button topic right now on the Twitter sphere, certainly, if people be like, it's not a robbery at all. Every single MMA media person scoring it for Petr Yan really trends towards robbery as opposed to bad decision.
I would push
that's
back
not definitive. Like it's not the thing, but it felt like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is he officially won. And so why in God's green earth are we not pushing this kid to the moon? That's the point of having him, of putting him in this position, of making Sean Shelby look like a genius for doing this. Like it is to take him and build him and cut a promo for him if he is too concussed or tired to make that afterwards, to say, yes, this is it. So in 4 months when they're fighting, when he's fighting Aljo for the belt, you can have that on the promo reel. I just don't know what we're doing here.
Sean came in and impressed, man. Like ultimately, that dude belongs in the top 10 of this division, and he belongs fighting in these contender fights, right? And that in and of itself is a win, even if he would have lost. But you're right, the fact that he did actually get the W, and we're not doing the thing when the UFC has been trying to do the thing with this guy for so long, and now they finally have a chance to do the thing, and now we're not doing the thing. It's just, what can you say?
March 11th, 2023. UFC Fight Night, Yan versus Dvalishvili, Las Vegas, Nevada. The Machine is booked in his first ever UFC main event, opposite former champion Petr Yan.
I want to win for my people, and I have so many support from my country, and so many support from Ukraine too. But Peter is great fighter. He's former champion. We all know he's top. As a fighter, he's a great fighter. He's dangerous, and he don't have hole anywhere. He's good striker. He defends wrestling good. His cardio is good, and this is my toughest fight. But and I have other reasons. I think he's a great fighter, good family guy, but he's not a humble guy. And he's not great human, I think, But it doesn't matter how good fighter you are, you have to be good person. You have to treat people well, and I don't care if you're good fighter or no. I just want to be a good man, and then for people, and for give good example for other people. And he's cheater. He was champion. He don't know rule. And then he was disrespect my friend, and he don't use his platform when he was champion. He wasn't doing like great things. He wasn't like doing any charity or any like humble things. And I don't think he's a good guy. Like maybe he's good for his family, but other than that, what he's doing, nothing.
The betting underdog wins a lopsided decision.
He just blew the doors off of Petr Yan, swept the scorecards. This fight was not even all that competitive. How surprised were you to see it play out the way that it did?
I was very surprised. I mean, we talked about it in the pre-fight Q&A. I didn't think he'd be able to get Yan down all that successfully, and was correct in that. He didn't, but I just sort of didn't think that he'd be able to do this, to put his cardio wrestling game, to bear on a guy who has proven to be extremely well versed in 25-minute fights. Like Petr Yan gets stronger as fights go on. Like that is the hallmark of his game, and it wasn't there. Right, and I don't know. It looked like he got hurt in that second round from a leg kick. The commentary team was saying it. Merab had been throwing a ton of those. I don't know if he just blew a tire and could never get back on, or if Merab is simply you can't stop the cardio monster. But I mean, he whitewashed him. It's 50-45 officially. Probably should have gotten like a 10-8 for that second round too. Like that was just pillar to post, man.
I've been saying the same thing about Merab for like 3 years now. There's not a bantamweight on planet Earth who is going to be excited to see that man's name on the other side of a contract. No. It's the risk reward is just not there. Now he can't be denied. He's won 9 in a row now. He's a win away at maybe 2. At worst, he's 2 wins away with this division being what it is. But he's in a great spot because no one does to Petr Yan what he did to Petr Yan tonight. Not even Aljamain Sterling could do that. And that was friggin' impressive. So may not be the most compelling thing, may not be a fight we're going to go back and watch again and again and again, but the dude just went in there and got it done. And
that's the thing.
That was impressive.
It is undeniably impressive. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
But in the exact same way that George St. Pierre just positionally controlling the hell out of Dan Hardy is not compelling fighting, large stretches of that fight were not. Now, there were parts of it that were. As I said, the first 2 rounds were pretty good. There was back and forth. He was actively trying to damage him. In the 5th round, he picked it back up again. But he Merab'd real hard during the middle sections of that fight, and it was just like, okay, spam. I was doing live blogging, and at one point there, I'm just like, shot a takedown, stuffed, punched on the break, shot again, stuffed, rinse and repeat. It's just like it's not my favorite thing to watch, Mike. If you like it, then Bloody Merab is the fighter for you. And even better, I'm trying to think of people that I think in this division that could stop him from doing that at this juncture. Maybe 2 people in this division that I can see an argument for being like, they can have success in stopping this from happening. So you're going to be in store for some good fights if that's your particular brand of vodka.
August 19th, 2023, UFC 292, Sterling versus O'Malley, Boston, Massachusetts. Sugar Sean O'Malley is booked in his first UFC title fight and his first main event opposite champion Aljamain Sterling.
Just feels like it's meant to be right now. It's like, this is my time. I've seen this kind of playing out over my career. I said before, I even fought Alfred on the Contender Series that, I'm going to be that dude. I'm going to be fighting, main events, world titles, pay-per-views, and now it's here. So it's not like a big surprise to me. I knew I'd put in the work, beat the guys I needed to beat, and I'd be here. But yeah, it's still really cool to see, on the billboards and, main event. It's awesome. Yeah, I know he's worried about the unknown. I mean, you got to be a little bit going into a fight. You just don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, you've seen how I've knocked people out. You don't want to be on the other end of that. You don't want to. That changes people's careers when you get knocked out that way. You're like, man, I didn't really know people could be that fast. It's possible.
O'Malley knocks out Aljo 1 minute into the second round. The 17-1 Sean O'Malley is the new UFC bantamweight champion.
Dude, I haven't grappled in 6 weeks. I had a muscle strain and I literally couldn't grapple in 6 weeks. Couldn't MMA spar. I was the main event in Boston. There was no shot I was pulling out, but we haven't grappled in 6 weeks. 6 weeks from today, I hurt I had a muscle strain right under my rib and I couldn't grapple. And so coming into this fighting Aljo, every time I did interviews and I was saying it's life or death, I cannot get taken down. It was because I didn't know if this would hold up. And it's fucking sore right now. And I don't know if it was from a kick or just from the little bit of scramble or the little bit of grappling we did, but it's definitely like, it's not super painful, but I definitely feel it. So dealing with those mental demons coming into this fight, knowing I was injured-ish, like I literally, we didn't grapple one day in the last 6 weeks. Didn't grapple at all fight week. And I kept saying in every interview, it's life or death if he takes me down. And I was kind of referring to that, but I wasn't, going to come out and say I'm injured.
You pretty much called your shot next, right? You want a rematch with Chito Vera later this year?
Yeah, I thought, let's shoot a promo, but we'll see. He just the way he acts, he's so annoying. Just like he's not funny, and he tries to be. He's so ugly, he dresses like an idiot. It's like, God, do I really have to give this guy an opportunity? But I'm like, well, I'll probably just go out there and whoop his ass, make a lot of money, so I could. So yeah, that could be it. I also wouldn't mind knocking out Gervonta Davis, and I know people are gonna go, oh, you want to be Conor. I'm telling you, that fight is gonna happen.
All the on-paper stuff was in Aljo's favor, but there were vibes. There was this idea that, maybe O'Malley has a touch of the McGregor in him, this ability to sort of make unlikely outcomes occur in the best, possible universe for him. And it happened eerily close to the McGregor-Aldo finish, frankly. Him doing that over a guy colloquially known as Aljo is certainly something. And, history may not repeat itself, but it appears to have rhymed in this instance. And so, not like shocking that this happened. I'm not like, I can't believe what occurred, but it was very cool to see happen and sort of where we're going to go from here. The bantamweight division is never going to be the same. And it might not be for better, frankly, but I'm very interested to see kind of how this rope plays out moving forward. After tonight, O'Malley is the number 2 star in MMA. Like, I feel really confident and comfortable calling Sean O'Malley the number 2 biggest star in MMA, and arguably number 1, depending on your views on if Conor still intends to ever fight again. So, yeah, it's unquestionably the biggest fight in the history of this division. It's the biggest fight that can be made in the sport right now, probably. Maybe you could do something with Conor and somebody else, but I think that this fight will do better numbers than Conor versus Chandler will. And I think Conor versus Chandler will do just fine because it's still Conor, but you got to have a real foil. And I think that's what Cheeto's bringing here. So yeah, I'd be pretty surprised at this point if that's not 296 December in Las Vegas, the headliner. And it's never going to, like you said, Sean O'Malley is never going to not fight in the main event of a pay-per-view from this point forward. That is just not his lot in life at this moment in time, because the UFC is never going to put him on a card with Conor, who's the only dude who could take that spot from him at the moment.
February 17th, 2024. UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria, Anaheim, California. Merab Dvalishvili is booked in yet another top contender matchup, this time against former 2-division champion and Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo.
How many times do you think you can take down an Olympic gold medalist in 15 minutes?
Actually, I'm not focused on this because it's a fight. He is better wrestler than me. He has an Olympic gold, I'm sure if we're wrestling, he will beat me in wrestling rules. But in MMA, I think I will do very, very well against him, because it's a MMA, it's a fight, it's totally different game, and I'm focused on win the fight, and I'm not focused of take him down because it's a fight, it's not wrestling tournament, it's not Olympic game, we understand he has a gold medal, I know, but in MMA, all I want to do is just win, even if I have to just kicking all day, I will do that.
Merab out-wrestles, outworks, and has a little fun against Triple C, winning by decision. This moves Merab's win streak to an incredible 10 consecutive fights.
Dana confirmed that you are next as if there was any, choice to be made, but he said it. So what does it mean for you knowing that your next fight is for a UFC title?
That means I'm fighting for the belt, and I have another challenge. That's only goal I have now. Fight for the title and then win the belt. I believe myself. I'm only getting better, as you guys see. Every fight looks so much easier. And really tonight, I wasn't even really breathing. I wasn't really even like heavy I was very comfortable. And this is only beginning, you know. I have so many years left of me because I live healthy lifestyle, and I change little things in my life for be full-time fighter and just training hard, training smart, and I'm just grinding, and I'm just blessed, and so now I'll be ready. I can make weight in 5 days, and no problem. And if they need a replacement, I will be there. If not, then I will enjoy my time, and I will just training like I always training, and I will face whoever will be champion.
March 9th, 2024, UFC 299, O'Malley versus Vera 2, Miami, Florida. Sean O'Malley is set to defend his championship for the first time in a rematch of his only career loss. He is set to face Marlon Cheeto Vera once again as the main event for the pay-per-view in Miami.
If Sean O'Malley comes in and fights the way he always fights, I think that's walking right into the best parts of Cheeto in a way that's really tough for him. I have comped this fight or this matchup to Conor versus Nate, and I think that that's a pretty good comp, honestly. And the question for me is, does this look like the first one where Conor tried to blow Nate out of the water, couldn't do it, and he was dead? Or does this look like the second one where Conor still had to survive some really tough moments, but he fought really smart, fought pretty against type for how Conor wants to fight, and managed to eke out a decision? Because I think that's how Sean has to win this fight. Unless, of course, Cheeto just doesn't fight, because sometimes Cheeto does that.
Cheeto's a fucking pinata. Peter Yan's one fight away from bare knuckle boxing, and Merab's nose more crooked than Joe Biden. Let's fucking go, baby!
In one of the best performances of his career, O'Malley wins a dominant unanimous decision.
I mean, I knew I was better than this guy for 3.5 years. I knew the first fight was a fluke, and I proved that. So it felt good.
We talked about it on the preview show. You asked, hey, what's your biggest question coming into this? And I had 2 questions, and it was one for each of them. And the one for O'Malley is he going to fight smart? There is a clear path forward for him to approach this fight. Is he going to take that path, or is he going to buy into the I'm going to knock Cheeto out thing? I'm going to do this. Nobody's ever done it. I'm going to be the guy. And then down that path lay damnation. That's how he can lose this fight, is thinking that and pursuing it to his own detriment. And he didn't. He fought a brilliant fight. It was, you said disciplined, and I think that is the best word, but it's more than that too, because it was not just the discipline of it. That is the most impressive part. The fact that he came in with a great game plan, executed it brilliantly, and never really deviated. But he also showed me stuff beyond that, because when we were talking pre-fight, it was, how can he be super impressive? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously we knocked out Cheeto, but I don't think that's possible. And we learned that that's true. It's just not possible to do that to Cheeto, apparently. But he can have a really disciplined performance, and he did that. But beyond that, he also showed a ton more toughness than we've really had to seen him display before. I mean, there were moments of it in the Yan fight, but you said Cheeto didn't really hit him all that hard. I would disagree. I don't think Cheeto hit him that often, but there were several moments when Cheeto finally got one shot in, and Sean ate it, reset, and was like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. But he was never scared of Cheeto. He was never concerned about what came back. He was respectful of it, but clearly showed an ability to sort of dig deep in moments when Cheeto did start having success at various points. Sean did not just run away until Cheeto got tired. Sean sat in the pocket and fired back and was like, bro, back the fuck up off me. It was a disciplined performance. It was a beautiful performance. It was a much more rugged performance in spaces than I think he'll get credit for, because we are all fascinated with the prettiness of it. But it was a total performance and showed that he is still developing, still improving, and legitimately, like him or not, like one of the best fighters in the world, and certainly one of, if not the best fighter in this weight class.
September 14th, 2024. UFC 306, O'Malley versus Dvalishvili, Las Vegas, Nevada. For the first time, the UFC holds a pay-per-view event at Sphere for its second annual Noche UFC event. The main event for this massive spectacle is the UFC bantamweight champion, Sugar Sean O'Malley, defending his championship versus the machine, Merab Dvalishvili.
How long would you say you've wanted to fight Sean O'Malley for? When was the first time you looked at Sean and said, "Oh, I'd like to fight that guy"?
He got my intention when once I see, and then I was contending serious. He win incredible way, and he got UFC contract, and I keep an eye on him. And unfortunately, my first two fight, I have controversial lost. Even I feel I win first two fight UFC. My record says I lost those fights, and of course, when coming from loss, you don't want to call somebody. But once I win my first fight, 2018, exactly this time, like it was September, so that was 6 years ago. I called Sean O'Malley, and because I wanted to fight him, we both beat same opponent and the time, and I wanted to fight him. I think that time Sean O'Malley was 1-0 or 2-0 UFC, and yeah, my record wasn't look good, and I thought he will accept me, I thought he will look me as a easy opponent, but somehow he never respond, because I wanted to fight him because I see him as a challenge, because how he was fighting, how he was knocking people out. And I wasn't thinking it was easy fight. I don't think it's easy fight until even today, and now I'm still excited to fight him.
The sphere is gonna be cool for everyone else, but me. I have this. For me, it's tunnel vision. I'm walking to the cage. I'm doing what I have to do. I'll enjoy the show after. I don't let myself kind of think about all that. So. For me, it's going to be, we'll see. Maybe it's going to be so crazy I'm going to have no choice but to look around. And I mean, I'll look around and take it in, but I'm not thinking about all the extra stuff.
In a classic Merab performance, cardio and wrestling are enough for Merab Dvalishvili to defeat O'Malley by unanimous decision and become the brand new UFC bantamweight champion.
It's an MMA fight, and I was ready for everything. I was ready for war, but when I see his power, I see his everything, and he wasn't coming. He was waiting for me, and how tricky he did against Aljo. I tried to do same. Like if you don't wanna come to me, I'm not gonna come. And so yeah, nothing surprised me actually. I make him look normal. All country knows me when I say yes, and the all country supports me. It's a very big deal. Georgia and Merab fighting in UFC and fighting for UFC belt, and I'm Georgia. Georgia give me everything, all the power, all the knowledge, like everything. I fight for my country, and I'm ready for die my country, and we all support each other, and we are a very tight community, and they are very happy for me, and I'm so happy for every Georgians, and that's all it's about, man. Now today everybody happy in Georgia, and I'm glad I did this, make my country proud and happy, inspire young kids, and it's only beginning. I'm only getting better, and I will continue to do same thing for my country.
Everybody talked about this. This is not a surprising outcome. I did not think it would happen. I picked Sean O'Malley. I bet on Sean O'Malley, but nobody was shocked at how Merab could win. This is what Merab does. I thought Sean O'Malley would be a little bit more effective with his defensive wrestling, with dictating the range, with his offense, and he was stifled immediately. Merab came out and did exactly what I wanted to do. I thought a very disciplined game plan for Merab that he's not getting a ton of credit for, because it's not the kind of performance you're going to get credit for. The only real ways Merab is going to get credit for is when he overachieves, when the expectation was not there that he could do something, and that he is, showing how great his cardio is. But that's not really that replicable. You're not doing the time and time again, like, wow, that guy never slows down for 25 minutes. We all recognize it's very difficult, that he very, very realistically may have the greatest cardio in the history of MMA. But that's not a flashy talking point you want to keep going on about. So by nature, this is going to turn a little more towards, well, Sean looked flat, Sean wasn't good. But Merab said he was going to do this from Jump Street, came out, did it, didn't get drawn into any kind of brawls like he did against Henry Cejudo at moments, and just a clean, effective thing. Weird. There were some real weird parts going on in this fight, Mike. Don't get that twisted. But I mean, this is an A-plus performance from Merab Dvalishvili, and he's your new champion, and that is what matters the most, and he did it.
January 18th, 2025. UFC 311. Makhachev versus Moicano, Inglewood, California. Merab is set to make his first title defense against the undefeated 18-0 Umar Nurmagomedov.
It said in the entrance here that you are 5 takedowns away from tying George St. Pierre for the most in history. Do you think you can take down Umar 6 times in this fight and break the record?
That's always good to break the record, but I'm here for fight. I'm not looking for wrestling. If record is happen. If not, I wanted to punch Umar Nurmagomedov's face, and you guys all see on Saturday night. And guys, thank you so much for support and love.
He will break GSP record in the next fight, not in this fight.
Talk now. We're gonna find out Saturday night. You can talk now. Continue to talk, but you will be humbled, my friend.
I'm always humble, Merab. I'm always. You don't need to do something. I'm always.
Good for you. That's how it should be.
You watched the press conference yesterday, right, Jed?
Sure did.
Did you take anything away from the press conference in regards to this fight? Do you feel any differently about Merab? Do you feel any differently about Umar than you did, say, 48 hours ago?
No, but like there was just nothing that was going to change my opinion on this fight, I don't think. I feel very slightly different. I'll come back to that in a second. What I noticed, what really jumped out at me is, I think the obvious part of, to me at least, Umar and company, they started digging in a little more. Like at the first presser, it was so weird. We talked ad nauseum about it. Merab went off the handle, acting crazy for no reason, sort of. You're a POS, blah, 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 like screaming, while Umar was pretty calm and being like, hey man, we're going to fight. You can just chill. This one, it feels like they might sense weakness and are trying to twist the knife. They're trying to poke at I'm more Georgian than you. They're really trying to get under Merab's skin and play a mental warfare game that we haven't traditionally seen with that team. So that jumped out at me, but primarily nothing changes in this fight for me, except now really the one question I kind of had before has been locked into me, and it is very simply, I think Umar wins this fight whatever happens tomorrow. I am fascinated to see what Merab looks like in the cage, because a part of me, armchair psychologist Sigmund Freud Mashu checking in here, thinks that he is going to fight completely outside of his mind in a bad way, that the mental pressure that this stuff has gotten to him, and that will open him up to get jawed. Maybe that just doesn't happen. Maybe Merab is not like that. Merab, once the cage door closes, he's strictly about the business, goes in, competes the same as always. In either of those circumstances, I don't think anything changes. Frankly, maybe there's a world where this inspires him to be better than he ever was before, and he shows newfound striking ability. I am just fascinated on what the mental aspect of this has done for Merab and what he is going to look like come fight night, because I have an idea what I think will happen, but I am not confident. And so I really want to see how he looks on Saturday.
In an incredibly fun and competitive battle, the betting underdog, Merab Dvalishvili, hands Nurmagomedov his first loss by defending his title via unanimous decision.
Every fight is different, man. If I have to take Sean O'Malley down and make it look easy, why I have to beat this guy too much? I will beat him next time, I want to left more. I don't know, man. Like every fight is different challenge, And but I prove again that I can fight everybody, any style. And then I'm a champion, and I beat a lot of good guys. I don't know how to answer your question. I mean, okay, I'm getting better. So some Russian journalists remind me actually, I was working construction before, and then I forget about this, but I wasn't like a real full-time fighter. But now I'm a full-time fighter. I'm getting better, and I'm still gonna get better.
Merab winning this fight, like the difference between win and loss here is like literally everything from Merab. Because if he lost, never ever sniffing a title shot again, unless he had to fall into it on like a day's notice, just happened to be in town for something. But now that he beat Umar, now that he exercised the demons, he beat the boogeyman of this division, the guy people, I believe yourself, had ranked as the #1 bantamweight on the planet. AK Lee has been singing it for a year. That's the best bantamweight in the world, especially after the Corey Sandhagen win. Merab just beat this guy. He just got him out of the way. And now all these big fights with guys he's already beaten, with way bigger names right now, I guess from a legacy perspective, and favorable matchups are right there for Merab. This is prime money-making season, and now he's so far ahead of the game because of this victory.
I was talking about it in the preview show, in the watch party. This was, I think there's an argument. I'd have to really dive in and see that this was the most boom bust win in UFC history, because it's smooth sailing now, Mike. Like we're staring down the barrel of a Sean O'Malley rematch. It's undeserved. We don't need to dive into that
It's
happening.
gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We saw that fight. There are no questions about how that fight will go in perpetuity. Frankly, he's gonna win that big money fight. Already, like he has a great resume, but he has a couple title defenses, and his next opponents appear to be rematches with guys he dominated. Okay, there's a very real opportunity that by the end of this year, if not next year, early next year, he is now has a compelling case as the bantamweight GOAT. He got a lot more money in his pocket. He's got multiple title defenses, and now he's starting to do that. I've cleaned out the weight class. I want to get my shot at featherweight, even though I know he and Elliot Topuria have Georgian friendship going, maybe a lot of time between now and then. So this was a monster win, considering how much to gain versus how much to lose. The delta between those two was just enormous. So super big win from Merab.
June 7th, 2025, UFC 316, Dvalishvili versus O'Malley 2, Newark, New Jersey. Sean O'Malley is awarded a rematch with the man who took the UFC Bantamweight Championship from him, Merab Dvalishvili. The championship rematch will be set as the main event for the pay-per-view at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.